Hi guys, welcome back to a video on my channel. And today I'm going to just be talking a little bit about the Raptors season, their postseason, and what's been happening and what is coming to expect tomorrow. So today I have my dad with me.
Hello.
Ew. And so I was just asking you this question yesterday, or just now, and I just want to get your take on it. What you
Right.
think about Pascal Siakam and his role tomorrow in the playoffs? Do you think it will match what he has been doing this whole time in the regular season in terms of points, rebounds, and even assists, and his 3-point percentage as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think he will have the same type of impact. When you look at what Pascal has done over the last several months, he's been inconsistent at times, but for the most part, Pascal has been very, very consistent and confident. I think when it comes to the playoffs, he's going to deliver. He's going to have a lot of energy and excitement. He's going to run the floor. He's going to pass the ball. And I really expect to have a tremendous amount of impact from Pascal as we see, the playoff getting started here.
And now we've seen so many times Nick Nurse has actually meshed Pascal Siakam on the bench as well.
Right.
What do you think about that, and should that be incorporated in the playoffs?
Well, absolutely. When you look at the playoff concept in terms of how deep these coaches go to the bench, you have to expect that we're not going to see more than 3 or 4 guys that comes off the bench on a consistent basis, and so there's the opportunity where we can have Pascal now incorporate his game on the bench side of the schemes with the Raptors. And I think that's going to be very, very important because now you can have him as a go-to guy to be able to score off the dribble and be able to distribute and help other guys get involved in the offense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to get your take on Danny Green.
Right.
And his role. He has been known to be very Steph Curry-ish
Mm-hmm.
as of late.
Right.
But I mean, he has been inconsistent. We saw he got 0 points in the game against San Antonio early in the season.
Right.
What do you think his role? How big is his role this playoffs? And do you think he will deliver?
Well, I think Danny Green's role is huge. He's a guy that when the shot clock it runs down, or the play collapse, or other guys collapse on obviously Kawhi and Kyle and so forth. It leaves that open man there in the corner, and Danny Green has done a great job in positioning himself to be able to take those shots, and 9 times out of 10 he's gonna knock it down. And I think with his experience and the pedigree that he brings from the playoff experience, I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to be able to be there when the Raptors need him most to be able to knock down those big, huge threes and help the Raptors succeed here.
Okay, so I want to get your take as well.
Yeah.
On OG. As we've heard, he's been out with a very serious injury.
Right.
So I want to know how big is the loss that Raptors are going to have with him gone,
Right.
and who can potentially accept his role in the playoffs?
Well, that's a great question, Vanessa. When you look at what OG brings to the table, certainly from a defensive standpoint, we've seen over the last a few years, OG has really stepped up, especially from a defensive standpoint, in locking down other defenders. They're going to miss him, but in this series, maybe not so much. But when you look at the second round, which is expected to be back in time, we're definitely going to need OG to be able to, play against guys that, are more seasoned and bigger, stronger, offensive guys. So I think, we're definitely going to miss OG. Maybe not so much in this series. But as we move forward to the second round and beyond, I think his presence is going to become even more important, right?
And who do you think can really accept his role coming in the playoffs? I mean, we have newly signed back Eric Moreland. What do you think about that?
Right. Well, I think it's going to be more on from the 3 guard spot, and so we're looking at Powell be able to step up and really help out in that regard. But the Raptors have some flexibility to be able to go to a guy like maybe even a few of the other guys off the bench, that can come in and maybe provide a few minutes here and there. But for the most part, I think it's going to be Norman Powell that's going to come in and relieve OG in that spot.
Okay, 2 more questions before I let you go.
Sure.
I just want to get your take on the new players on the Raptors. We've had a new look with them with Jeremy Lin,
Right.
with Jody Meeks, and then with Eric Moreland. And how big of a role do you think they have? And do you think that with this new set of players, we will see a different side of Raptors this season?
Well, I think those guys give that extra, added option. But I really don't think we're going to see the coach go that very deep into the bench. So we're looking at primarily guys like Serge Ibaka, and we're going to see guys like obviously Norman Powell, and then Fred VanVleet. So I think outside of that, we're not going to see those guys too often. But at the same time, it's good to have a guy like Jody Meeks and Jeremy Lin that can come in and maybe relieve a little bit and knock down a few shots and take some of those minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the last question is I want to get your take on Lauri's comments yesterday that he did in a post interview after their training.
Right.
He said that, you shouldn't be surprised if, basically in a nutshell, he said you shouldn't be surprised if he distributes the ball a little bit more and kind of doesn't shoot as much aggressively. What do you think about those statements, and will Raptors take a hit if he steps a little bit back and doesn't shoot as much?
Right. Well, that's an interesting point, because when you look at the history and what's happened in the past with Kyle Lowry and his involvement and how his playing style of the playoff, it's really something that we've got to take note of. We've seen where Kyle have kind of disappeared in the past, and so with this roster now, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the offense as much, right? But at the same time, we'll definitely want to be able to see Kyle Lowry take a very aggressive approach to the game, and to be able to knock down those shots and get his offense going. But at the same time, it's probably more important to be able to just make sure that everybody gets involved and pick his spots when it comes to the offense, right?
Thank you so much, Clifton, for your time. And
Thank you.
before you go, what is your prediction for this playoff matchup? Do you think it's going to go to Game 4, Game 5, a sweep? What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be Raptors in 5. I mean, I just think the Raptors are hungry. They're the most talented team. They've got the experience. And I think it's just it's the moment they've been waiting for. And I think with Orlando right now, it's just not going to have enough firepower to be able to stand with the Toronto Raptors. So I call Raptors in 5.
Okay, so do I. Thank you so much.
See you at the top.
Okay, gross.